Hey everybody, real quick, I just want to let you guys know that I'm once again banned from YouTube from live streaming, which is kind of a problem because I'm mostly a YouTube live streamer. I do a lot of streams, talking to Chad, doing my podcast and stuff. Please follow me on Twitch. I'm going to be going live shortly after this video comes out, doing my podcast tonight. I'll be interacting with chat and stuff like that, so follow me on twitch.tv/AugUFC. This is where all my live streaming, all my live content is going to be from now on. From now on until I get unbanned from YouTube, so please follow me over here. Tariq Nasheed is one of the most interesting political figures I've been aware of for the last 4 years. A lot of people mischaracterize Tariq Nasheed as an SJW or as a leftist because of his propensity for calling people white supremacists and going after white people and shitting on white people. A lot of people just assume, oh, well, he hates white people, so he's an SJW. But that's not really what Tariq Nasheed is at all. As a matter of fact, Tariq Nasheed is more in common with the white supremacists than you might think, except instead of the white, it's black. Picture the stereotypical white supremacist, caricature in your head. You know, somebody who believes white people are superior and that white people rule the planet or something like that. But replace white with black. That's basically Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed also really hates gay people, which obviously is not something that, you know, the SJW character would agree with. Tariq Nasheed believes that gay people are all white supremacists and that they're all enemies of black people, and Tariq does a lot of preaching about how black people are just always victims and everyone is either a white supremacist or a suspected white supremacist, which is a little bit interesting because I don't know how you can be suspected of being a white supremacist. It seems like it'd be pretty obvious to tell if somebody is or is not a white supremacist, but you know what? We're kind of dipping into this political, autism that I don't really want to focus on. The point is that Tariq Nasheed is a controversial radio show political host. He's also a former musician.
You got to wash your ass, you got to wash your ass, wash your ass. Just grab a douche, open up your puss, and squash it, squash it. I say now dag, baby, did you pass gas? I think you better go get yourself bar soap and wash your ass fast. Got a motherfucker.
That's right. Wash your ass, ladies and gentlemen. And while Tariq Nasheed has got himself into a fair share of trouble over the last few years, I find him to be oftentimes pretty funny, pretty interesting. Not that I agree with him, obviously, but I find him to be very fascinating to listen to. Not, listen to and agree with, but just listen to. Oftentimes, I find that's the case with a lot of people that are incredibly controversial on one side or the other. They tend to be the most interesting people and usually the funniest, to be honest with you. However, today, Tariq Nasheed posted something that I did not find was funny at all. And well, it should come to no surprise here, but this might be the lowest thing that Tariq Nasheed's done in a long time.
Shut the fuck up, Tariq.
So he tweeted this morning and said, a white Holiday Inn Express worker has a nervous breakdown after he got scolded by a black customer because of a mistake in the reservation system. Now notice exactly what he's doing here. A white Holiday Inn Express worker has a breakdown after he got scolded by a black customer, dividing up the races, letting people know what's going on here, what the perceived notion is here. So let's take a look at the video right here.
Because you all made a mistake?
Not really, no.
So you want to get mad and hit the computer because you made a mistake? Because your company made a mistake? You want to take it out on me?
I'm not taking it out on you.
So why did you get mad and hit the computer? Why did you get mad and hit the computer?
Because I have met.
I'm sure you're on camera, right?
Yeah, I am.
I'm sure you're on camera. So this is the type of people they have working here.
I gotta go, man. I gotta go. You ruined my life. You ruined my whole life, man.
Wow. You gotta be kidding me. Wow.
What a piece of shit. And of course I'm referring to the person recording this, and as well as Tariq Nasheed for posting this and signal boosting this. I mean, this is a video that I almost feel bad for reposting technically to my YouTube channel. Because it's, it's highlighting somebody at their absolute worst moment. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that this guy's obviously got some sort of mental issue that, causes him to have these breakouts in public. I mean, listening to this video, clearly it's out of context, but the worker here, the Holiday Inn employee, doesn't seem to be putting up much of a fight or being that much of an asshole to the customer. The customer opens up the video saying like, yeah, you're gonna throw this on me? And the employee's like, no, sir, no, I'm not, before he has his breakdown. I mean, I've never seen a video that more perfectly illustrates the argument as to why cell phones should not have cameras attached to them. Why is this being filmed? I mean, we know why it's being filmed, but let me ask, the obvious question here, why is this being recorded? Obviously, this person had a breakdown because he realized the camera is being recorded. He even references the fact that the person recording this video is ruining his life. Now, the entire internet sees him at his lowest moment. They see him crying, they see him having a breakdown, bashing his head into the computer. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And again, I feel bad for even playing this video on my channel, but I have to play it to establish context here as to why Tariq is the biggest piece of shit. Because not only is this video being recorded, but then assholes like Tariq take it and put a racial spin on it. So not only does the customer get embarrassed by having his breakdown thrown across to the entire internet, but now he's being called a racist on top of it. Why is he being called a racist? Because the customer was black. And obviously, the white employee couldn't handle the blackness of the customer, so he had a breakdown because he's a big racist meanie or whatever. I don't know. I guess that's the narrative being spun here. I'm a little bit confused. To make matters even worse, allegedly, the Holiday Inn employee later went to Reddit to add some more context to the story. And while it is impossible to prove whether or not this is actually the employee, I think the context provided here, if this is true, definitely helps adjust the story a little bit. So he says, yes, that's me in the video. I have BPD with schizoactive tendencies. This is not one of my best moments. Mental illness is real and it literally can destroy lives. All I wanted to do was help him, which I couldn't because at that point my hands were tied and I'm not a manager but an overworked motherfucker. If they pressure me and try to argue with me, I don't know how to handle it usually. Thankfully, this was a huge wake-up call to just stop being in this industry. It took 5 years to break me out of the hospitality because I've just had enough. He then adds more context to the story, saying in other posts, I do have mental disorders, I suffer from BPD and schizoaffective disorders. What this fine 5'5" bald gentleman behind the camera didn't record was the fact that he called me an F-slur for an associate's mistake. He was aggressive and fishing for a reaction. He sure got it, and I'm glad this was a wake-up call for me to stop slaving away for corporations who do not care about you at all or the guests. Glad I was able to give the guy Reddit karma. I'd need it too if I were, again, a bald 5'5" manlet. And to be honest, I believe this, because obviously the guy is being recorded. There's no reason to record this public freakout other than for dopamine on the internet or to make a point, like Tariq's doing here, is putting a racial point on it. He's recording the guy to try to freak him out. Obviously, he's agitating him by default, so I totally believe that he was fucking with the Holiday Inn employee beforehand, calling him certain things to, piss him off and see if he can get a rise out of him. It makes total sense to me, at least. But again, this is alleged, of course. What we do know is that this video is clipped out of context. Obviously, this is not the start and the end of this confrontation. And as if filming him freaking out wasn't bad enough, he walks to the other side of the counter because he's facing it forward. Then he walks to their side to film the guy crying his eyes out just to make sure the Holiday Inn employee doesn't get to escape the camera. Like, no, I'm gonna record every single thing of what you're doing. Again, what a piece of shit. Luckily, the internet isn't totally cruel, and Tariq Nasheed posting this and putting a racial spin on it didn't go unnoticed by the community. He's getting absolutely ratioed and shit on. Although not entirely. I mean, he still did get 4,000 likes, but a lot of people are coming out to point out how ridiculous Tariq is here. Here's somebody saying, I've been personally in touch with the employee. He has BPD coupled with schizoaffective disorders. The fact that this has gone viral has sent his life into a dangerous downward spiral. I've reassured him that he is loved. Tariq responds with a totally intellectual response. You made it all up. I don't believe you. You're full of shit. I don't believe you because it's convenient for me too. Yeah. Good one, Tariq. Then he replies with the classy response, all I see are a bunch of suspected white supremacist trolls making up false narratives and projecting their own anti-black racism. The only person I see is trolling is here. I mean, Tariq, you have to be trolling. There's no way you're this stupid. Somebody points out that Tariq should be deplatformed, and I'm not for that. I mean, Tariq's obviously being a major piece of shit here, but I'm not gonna say that he needs to be deplatformed. I just think Tariq needs to be mocked like 10 times as severely as this employee was mocked. However, Tariq does again reply, you suspected white supremacists be lying like a motherfucker. What are they lying about? You are a sick and twisted monster for posting this. Tariq replies, stop projecting your anti-black racism. Obviously, because the only reason he'd be called a sick, twisted monster is because he's black. Not because he's, trying to ruin, this guy's life. No. Tariq's being called sick and twisted because, he's black, and that's what they want to call black people. Yeah. Totally. Harry responds, what was your purpose in posting this? What are you trying to gain? Tariq replies, it's called Twitter. Now, I actually like this response because this is probably the most honest thing Tariq's ever written. It is Twitter. He's right. This is Twitter. This is peak Twitter. I mean, this is what Twitter is. It is posting small, out-of-context clips or tweets or screenshots of anybody to ruin their lives for your daily dose of dopamine. I mean, Tariq sums it up right here. This is literally Twitter. I'm shocked by the honesty here. Somebody asked, what does color have to do with it? Tariq says, you tell me. Well, actually, Tariq, you tell me. You're the one making the claim that this has some racial element to it, so it's up to you to prove that. But of course he can't because, you know, his only proof that, you know, this customer had a freak out because, I don't know, he saw a black person for the first time and spurged out. Well, Tariq can't prove that, obviously. That's ridiculous. Even left-wing accounts are getting pissed off at Tariq. You got right-wing Cope here saying, Tariq, you're a terrible person for keeping the video up. The sad excuse for a man who was recording called the service worker an F-slur and verbally harassed him. Take the video down, you're 41, this is pathetic. And then you got this response here, which I like. I'm sorry, but why is a video of someone harassing an autistic kid being posted to the Bird app under the premise of a fucking racial issue? Tariq responds, prove he is autistic. You just made that up. To which the person replies, prove this is a racial issue. You just made that up. People will say, oh, don't give Tariq attention. That's what he wants. It's just, it's all part of his grift. It's all part of how he promotes his radio show and his products and his movies and all the other weird shit that he makes. Look, he's going to get the attention he's going to get either way. I just want to point out here once and for all that 4 years later, after Tariq was first, you know, exposed as being a piece of shit for getting people flagged off Twitter, like Bunty King, who is a loser, by the way. We don't like Bunty King here, but still, I mean, I don't think he should be flagged off Twitter. 4 years later, Tariq Nasheed is still just as terrible, if not worse. And while he is entertaining sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, he does say some funny shit. This just sickened me. It really left a bad taste in my stomach. I'm not gonna cry harassment all the time because I'm all for people being allowed to be assholes on Twitter and making fun of people and stuff like that, but there's, it's one thing to make fun of somebody and to make a few jokes at somebody's expense, and then it's another thing to walk into somebody while they're working, record them, fuck with them, try to agitate them, especially somebody who's mentally ill, try to get them to have a public breakdown, and then record the whole thing and post it on Twitter for dopamine, and then slap a racial issue on top of that. I think there's a very clear difference between just making a few jokes at somebody's expense and doing all of that to systematically try to destroy and get this guy fired and ruin his life. There's a little bit of a difference there. So yeah, Tariq deserves to be bullied for the rest of his life for this. I mean, karma will hit him one way or another. I firmly believe that, but either way, Tariq Nasheed, just a total piece of work. My name's AuggyUFC. I'll catch you guys later tonight for twitch.tv/AuggyUFC for the after hours. We're gonna have some fun shit to talk about tonight. Hopefully some more lighthearted topics, but we'll see. And then, of course, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. Follow me on twitch.tv. Follow me on Twitter. Yeah, that's gonna be about it.